to the team that made the move that we didn't think they were going to make, as Justin Fields trickled past number 10. And I was starting to hear maybe the Vikings were going to take Justin Fields if he was there at 14.
They love him not.
The Chicago Bears from the NFC North love him more, and they make the move up to the Giants. Yes, Dave Gettleman proves he is capable of trading back.
Yeah, Dave.
A first-round pick next year by dropping down 9 spots once he got leapfrogged for Devontae Smith, and he got the next receiver off the board, so it worked out well for the Giants to go down to 20. But the Bears making that move, gutsy call. Here's Ryan Pace, the GM of the Bears, to break down why they did what they did, springing up to 11 to get the Ohio State quarterback.
Matt has spoken to Andy Dalton tonight. That communication and clarity for us is really important. Andy is our starter, and we're going to have a really good plan in place to develop Justin and do what's best for our organization to win games. I mean, this guy's toughness on a scale 1 to 10 is an 11, and you just love that about him. Oh, and then, by the way, he runs a 4.44.
You know, we talked about this multiple times leading up to the draft. This is not a trade that gets made without Virginia McCaskey signing off on it, because what it does is it either gives Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy at least 2 years, and maybe that's what needed to happen. Maybe this is the way to get the fans to simmer down. You got a group that's taken to the playoffs twice in 3 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Playoffs have not been a routine aspect of the Bears' experience. Everybody sit down, shut up, we got this.
I like
Either
it,
that, right, or they are going to have themselves a hell of a mess.
Right.
If they clean house after this season, because whoever comes in next year says Justin Fields is the quarterback. Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll do what we can to get the most out of the guy that I didn't have in my top 30 players, if that's who they end up hiring. So I think good news for Pace and Nagy. The way that Pace talked about it, yeah, these are guys who expect to be around, and I assume they didn't give up the 2022 first-round pick without making sure that folks higher up, George McCaskey, Virginia McCaskey, said, we give you the blessing to do this, and we understand this means you guys aren't going anywhere for at least a couple of years.
I would think so, too. I mean, right, that was the big mystery. It's why I had Justin Fields falling a little bit, because I just wasn't sure, right? Would the Bears give the green light? I don't know. Mike, first off, I really love and respect, because you're right. And I know I've been critical of Matt Nagy and his offense and everything like that, but it's the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. They're closer to the top than the bottom, and it is an overreaction, and I do think the Bears fans need to pump the brakes a little bit. I understand it's not perfect, but it's still been damn good. And, hey, this is a bold move. There's no doubt about it. Now, again, getting back to like the Andy Dalton Justin Fields conversation. I mean, yeah, okay, Andy Dalton's a starter, right? Okay, sure he is. Until he throws the first incompletion in game 1 or the preseasons, when is it? You know, when will that be?
Or training camp.
Yeah, or it's just a matter of time. And again, with Justin Fields, yes, you know my concerns. There's some rawness and things that got to get fixed with the throwing, but the running aspect of his game is very special. And I am intrigued, too, there again with Matt Nagy to see what he can come up with a little bit. He's going to try to probably infuse his own style of a running quarterback here. You know, Andy Reid-ish, fake the speed sweeps, everybody going different ways, and he's going to do that with Justin Fields. So I'm never going to be mad at a team for going to get their guy. Come on, we know their quarterback situation was underwhelming to begin with. We all were wondering, like, what, are they going to do something, or are they really going to go with Andy Dalton as a starter? And they answered that last night, so good for them, and good for Justin Fields too, who's been, I know, really scrutinized, and I'm one of those guys. I get that, but I still root for the human being and want him to succeed.
Andy Dalton has that $10 million salary for this year, so he is going to be part of the picture in Chicago. But, you know, they were in this same spot with Mike Glennon 4 years ago when they got Mitch Trubisky. That's why I said pay no attention to the man behind the curtain when they were doing that QB1 crap with Andy Dalton.
Right. And
they were saying he's the starter. They had that tweet, he's QB1. Yeah, he's QB1 until you draft one. That's what he is. And this happens from time to time where a guy gets a nice contract in free agency and he's the starter until he's not. And he's the starter for now, and we'll see how long it lasts. But, yeah, QB1. Okay. But that's just what you do. It's when in Rome. Who that has a veteran quarterback on the roster, It's different if you don't. Jaguars make Trevor Lawrence QB1. Jets make Zach Wilson QB1. The other three teams, we already have a veteran. This is just part of the ritual. This is the rites of passage for the rookie to prove himself within the building. And if Justin Fields can't beat out Andy Dalton, why the hell did they give up next year's first-round pick to go get him? That's the first litmus test here. If you can't beat out Andy Dalton, well, maybe we made a mistake.
That's why
he will.
Fields. You're right. That's why he will, because it'll be set up for success to make sure that happens. Because you're exactly right. That'll become the theme or the question then. Wait, he couldn't beat out Andy Dalton. What the hell's wrong? So that is going to happen. They're going to make sure of that. Listen, this is a lightning rod topic in Chicago. And for Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, they got to get everybody off their back with the quarterback situation. I'm mad I didn't pencil it in to them taking Justin Fields. I really am. I truly am. Because from their standpoint, those two guys, this is the obvious pick. I mean, people in Chicago, when I go on their regional sports network or anything like that, they're pissed about the quarterback situation. They are. They're not happy about it. So now they got a guy that's really got some special elite traits about him. And let's see if he can become more of a polished passer and thrower and shut up, the critiques of guys like me. And I hope he can. But that's a big if. It is. The problems he has throwing the ball are not easy ones to fix. And I don't say that to be a jerk or anything. I'm just talking about my experience working with quarterbacks, being a quarterback, being around them, whatever it is. And that's going to be the big thing to watch for with Justin Fields when the preseason starts.
But your concern, and it was justifiable, how do the Bears agree to essentially guarantee employment for a couple of guys that they've created the impression for the benefit of the fans that they're on the hot seat?
Yeah,
maybe
right.
that was just to placate the fans.
Yeah.
Because right now the worst thing that the Bears could do is treat Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy like they are in a prove-it-or-get-the-hell-out year in Chicago. You are all in for at least 2 years now that you've gotten Justin Fields, and let's see how it works. And the best news for the Bears is this. Because Fields was the fourth quarterback off the board, their trade-up this year doesn't expose them to multiple quarterbacks who could end up being superstars. The only guy they have to worry about being better than Justin Fields is Mac Jones.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.